I've been studying attachment theory for a couple of months now. I had never heard of the phrase before until recently, but I've been studying about it. And it's unfortunate that this stuff isn't taught in schools, this essential life skill for building healthy relationships. It's so sad that it's not taught in schools. Otherwise, I might have had more self-awareness earlier in life about my attachment style, which happens to be the anxious attachment style. I'm open about it, and I'm working towards having a secure attachment style. I think that's what we all want, but it's so interesting to learn about my opposite attachment styles, that is the avoidance attachment styles. And from what I understand, there are four primary attachment styles: secure attachment, again, that's what we all want; anxious attachment, that's what I struggle with; dismissive avoidant and fearful avoidant, those are the two avoidant attachment styles. And then there's another one, disorganized, which is kind of a mix of them. But I've come to understand that for whatever reason, the anxious attachment style and avoidant attachment styles are somehow drawn to each other. It's funny, it's irony, because they're so opposite. And an anxious attachment style fears abandonment. So when an avoidant partner starts to inevitably pull away from the relationship, the anxious partner's anxiety and fear of abandonment are triggered. This stimulates their nervous system and compels them to fight for the relationship by holding on too hard. This is where the anxious partner becomes needy. They can come off as very needy. The avoidant partner, who's pulling away, can come off as cold. And at some point, it's a hellish game of pursue, and the avoidant partner is just pulling away. And that's not what the avoidant partner needs. Okay, and I've been here where I feel a partner pulling away, and then I try to save the relationship, and I start smothering them with affection and words of affirmation and reassurance. But that's not what the avoidant partner needs. They speak an entirely different language. What they need is to be left alone. They need time for themselves, to soothe themselves. And this is where the phrase "no contact" comes in. I'm sure you've heard it before. There's videos all about it on YouTube, no contact. And so we're clear, no contact is for your own health, for your own sanity, so that you can move on with your life. I know there's a lot of videos all over YouTube about how no contact can be used as a strategy to win your partner back, and I'm going to explain why in a second, but that's not really what it's for. So, avoidant partner pulls away. Anxious partner pursues, until eventually they have exhausted all of their emotions, all of their vulnerability, and they have decided that there is nothing left in this relationship. I am moving on. And this is where the anxious partner engages in no contact. This period of no contact can go on for months. It can last a few weeks. It can last for a few months. But at some point, after that no contact period, the avoidant partner will have had some time to realize that they actually miss their anxious partner. They miss them. So they will try to reach out to them, but very subtly. Like maybe they'll like a photo on Instagram, or they'll like a Facebook post, but it's very seldom that they will reach out directly, because that requires some vulnerability. And from what I understand, avoidant attachment styles are not good with vulnerability, because it wasn't developed in childhood, and they never really developed it and learned how to be vulnerable. So they'll send out signals to try to reach out to their anxious partner. And sometimes the anxious partner will they'll respond, and they'll want to come back to revisit the relationship, and things work out. Sometimes things work out, but it's this constant game of push pull, and it's a hellish game, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's this endless cycle of push pull, from what I understand. So it's like two different partners playing the same game, but with two different sets of rules. And, I can look back on my life and see that I have been struggling with an anxious attachment style my entire life, but I never had any awareness of it. And while I struggle with this attachment style, self-awareness has given me some more control over my emotions. And even more importantly, learning about attachment theory has helped me to understand other people's attachment styles, because we all have different attachment styles. We all fall into one of these categories. And learning about these other attachment styles, avoidant attachment styles, has given me a greater sense of empathy, so that I can understand them more, so that I can understand their needs more. So I encourage everybody watching this to study more about attachment style. I'm going to be covering it more on this channel, so please subscribe if you want to continue the conversation about attachment theory. And it's so important to know this, to understand yourself and to understand other people's attachment styles. Because if you don't understand attachment theory, if you don't know your own attachment style, you won't have any awareness of your own attachment style, of your partner's attachment style. You won't have any awareness, so you won't know how to navigate the conflicts and the dynamics of your relationship. So it is so important to know this. And I think it's something really interesting to talk about, especially when you first start dating, when you're in the early stages of dating. It's something I'd like to bring up. It's a conversation I'd like to have with whoever I'm dating. Like, hey, have you ever heard of attachment theory? Do you know what your attachment style is? This is my attachment style. And these are the traits of this attachment style. And what's your attachment style? Let's talk more about it. It's good. It's a fun conversation to have early in the relationship. But yeah, so I really encourage everybody to learn more about it. I'm going to continue to study it. It's very interesting. And again, I'm going to continue the conversation in more videos on this channel. So please subscribe. And I hope I brought some good into your life today. If so, please subscribe so we can continue the conversation. Please share your stories and your perspectives in the comments. I love reading them, and I love interacting with them. I love being as interactive as possible. So you all take care, and I'll see you in the next.